It's Bunny and welcome back to Coloralong, and today we're going to try to finish up our Chinese dragon page, and all we have left is the face. And so let's get right to it. So I'm going to use black, and the black is going to fill in some of this horn area, the spotted parts. And because the spots are so close together, we're just going to put like color in those areas. But since they're so small, I could dot them out, but there wouldn't be a need because it'll smush because we're using Prismacolors anyway. So we might as well just go ahead and smush it ourselves. So we're basically just laying this color down in those areas. And then we're going to use indigo blue. And then right here, we'll do a smush of colors, but we'll leave it kind of sporadic. What is this? That's that horn area, so that can be black. And then we'll do the same right in here. So there we go. And then this here is part of the face. So we'll get this. These are scales right here. So we're going to get the inside part of it. And right here, and these little spots right in here. All right. Then I'm going to take indigo blue, and we need to sharpen it a bit. I don't need it super sharp, I just need it sharpened a little bit. Alright, so let me get this area here. To here, and then this here, and down in here. Now I'm just figuring out what I'm going to have indigo. Okay, so up in there. Okay, so then let me get these scales. Well, I'm going to smudge it into that gold if I do that. Let's do the gold first. So what I'm going to do is use goldenrod. And goldenrod is going to be all the shadowed areas is goldenrod. So if it has a shadowed line, we're going to put goldenrod. Now these lines are a little more spaced out. So for that, I'm going to use, I believe I'm going to go ahead and use, I'm going to use Spanish orange, I think. So after this, next month is Mythical March, I believe, is how I have it down. I should have wrote it down somewhere, but I don't even think I wrote all my nope, I didn't. I need to write down my own Coloralongs, but I believe it's Mythical March, and so we will still do some things out of this book, but maybe we'll do Mermaids in Paradise, because it's any fantasy page. So we'll do probably the Mermaids in Paradise or Fairies in Dreamland. And I started the Foo Dog in this book, so I will finish that. What else book I have that could work with that tag? I don't know. I think there's Fairies in Romantic Country. What other book I have? Romantic Country. I think maybe that's it. Oh, Mythomorphia, I believe, has some mythical things going on in it. I'm saving. I want that King Tut picture badly. However, the King Tut picture is what really drew me to Mythomorphia. And I don't want to mess it up. Like it's the picture that really made me want to buy that book. So I want it to look right. So probably won't do that picture. In here, in this book here is the Sphinx that I really want to do. Even though I'll probably buy these books again once I get around to getting extra money to double up on books. I'm sorry, I had to take a bit of a drink right there. Throat is dry. Okay. So then in these areas here, I'm going to go in with my Spanish orange and take care of those, and then everything else will be the canary yellow. So it didn't look as much as like gold as I wanted it to, but that's alright because it still came out pretty well, as you can see down here. I wanted it to look gold, but I think it was too much of it to look gold, but it's alright. It still goes with the page, so I'm alright with it. And so that's just how it's going to be. I already did his areas here, and some of it looks messed up because the blue smudged onto it, but my eraser isn't sharp, right? So I couldn't really erase it. I made sure that I erased any smudges on the face though. I really wanted this to come out the best, so I took an eraser to it, made sure that there weren't any black smudged onto it or any blue smudged onto it. Would y'all consider robot as part of fantasy? I mean, there are robots, right? And I'm pretty sure there are humanoid robots out there that just haven't hit the market yet. I'm pretty sure of it. I'm dang near 100% sure of it. You know, because if you people call this conspiracy theory, but it really isn't. Before technology hits the mass market, it's already in use, usually through military. So if you see it in a movie, it's usually because it actually does exist. We just don't have access to it. And sometimes you can use it in a conspiratorial way and say, oh, they're using it for this, they're using it for that. But it's also because the technology, that's going to be blue right there. It's also because the technology at that point is too expensive for most people to afford. So it's not released in a commercial aspect until they find cheaper ways to mass produce it. So I'm pretty sure humanoid robots exist. But for us, I think maybe that will count as fantasy since it has not hit the market and therefore isn't in our public view. So maybe I think I will. Now I say that because I might end up doing that robot face in Mythomorphia. Maybe. I've seen some cool things done. I think there's a couple of robots in Mythomorphia. little, we'll see. How that goes. That's only in a couple of days. And we have a, you know, this was a shorter month. So, but we did it because we're almost done with this page. So I have another Coloralong that was actually finished in the month that it was supposed to be finished in. So I'm happy about that. It was broken up in parts because this page took so long to do piece by piece. I have really been slacking, and I'm sorry about that, on creating my playlist, but I will make sure that this one has a playlist, and I will go back eventually and put all of my videos in playlists in order, so that you can hit the playlist and it will play. So, and all the elements other than this bird was done on stream, I believe. So it will show you if you wanted to follow along. These weren't done and the bird wasn't done, but they lantern similar to this, where it's done on screen on the other page. So I believe everything, if you wanted to follow along exactly, can be done, has been done on the on camera. If you do follow along, or if you did do any Asian pages, you know, let me know on Instagram. Hashtag it Coloralong Chinese New Year, or just tag me in it so that I can see it, because I would love to see what you did. I look forward to seeing what you guys do. Or leave me a comment if you did it on your channel, and leave so that just put that I did this too or whatever, and then I can hit your picture and go to your channel and see it. Now what is this here? I wonder if that should be black. I'm going to make it black because it looks odd. It looks out of place. I need to make my way to Hobby Lobby and get duplicates. I need another black. I need another light umber. It's close. It's getting real close to March, which makes me happy because I'm in the South, and that means it is almost springtime. And our all the things that we have going on in spring starts in March. So we have like a lot of places have a first Friday, and we have a first Friday, and that starts back in March. So whenever I see that, I'm like, okay, yes, it's gonna warm up. Now the question is, will we have a spring? And we will. But will we have a spring season? We will have spring weather. but will we have a spring season? Because we can go from 60 to 90 real quick. And one day you get in spring weather, and usually once it hits 90, that's it. It's not going back down until September, maybe even October. So that is the question. Will we have spring? Will we have 70, 80 degree weather for the season? Or will we get thrown into summer? We have a spring for maybe March, and then April comes in, we'll just go straight into summer. Or will we get a spring in April and get summer in May? Or will we continue that spring into May and don't hit summer until June? And that's probably unlikely. By May is summertime. By May we're in those 90s and we're not getting out of them. And 90s, really isn't that bad. There's some 90-degree days where it's pretty okay. But again, being in the South, in the deeper part of the South, 90 degrees is usually humid. So it's hot and sticky. And for those who have heard that expression, it's not the heat, it's the humidity, and you never really understood it. I really can't explain it to you if you've never been in it, but there is a difference between dry heat and wet heat. And humidity, that's what it is. It's a wet heat, so it sticks to you. It just makes you feel tired, and if you have any breathing problems, you want to keep cool and stay out of it as much as possible. But you learn to deal with it. Sometimes you learn to deal with it too well, to the point you endanger yourself. I've done that because I am asthmatic, and I've had asthma all my life. And all the life I can remember, and before I can even remember, I've been told I've had asthma attacks. I deal with it, and I have gotten myself in trouble dealing with it in a little too long. So, but when you have a condition and you have it so much, you tend to hold off going to the doctor and stuff, because you're like, if I go every time I don't feel good, I'm going to be staying at the doctor. And, doctor visits are not cheap. So you tend to neglect yourself sometimes. But, I don't mind the weather so much. I need to get a better fan, because I prefer fans. I'm one of those people. I know there's people who just love their ACs and crank those babies up. For me, it doesn't feel like air. It makes the room cool, and that's nice, but there's no air circulating. Like, I like air. I like the feel of air. I like it. Air conditioning feels fake. It feels like like fake air. It just doesn't feel the same. I prefer fans. I like the circulation of actual air, feeling it circulate. So I'm going to have fans going as much as possible, and then when it gets too hot, I'll turn on the AC. But the key to when it's really hot is to get yourself used to it. The first couple of days of summer are the worst because you're just coming from cooler weather. So you're like, oh my goodness, it's sticky. But if you stay out in it, that's how people who work in hot weather deal with working in hot weather after a while, is because they're out in it all the time. And your body will get used to it. Now, it won't get completely used to it, and you have to hydrate and things like that. I feel horrible for people who have to do road work in the summertime, or even roof work, being on that hot roof. But in general, when I'm saying getting used to it, I'm talking about people who just want to sit out on their porches and enjoy the summertime. If you sit out on it and just wean yourself into it, you will get used to it. Also, taking a hot shower, not a cold shower, will help you with your heat feeling hot. So when you in the summertime, you want to I'm going to go take a nice cold shower, cool myself down. Well, you really shouldn't. You should take yourself a hot shower, because your body will be closer to the temperature that you want. You want to take a hot shower, and you want your house to not be blasted cold. So if you are going to take a cold shower and your house is cold, then that's fine, because your house is cold. But if you keep your house a little warm, then you want to take your shower hot. That way you're closer to the temperature of the environment, and you will feel better relief. If you take that cold shower, then your body's cold, you're going to hit that hot air, and it's only going to feel good for while you're taking that shower, maybe a few minutes after, and then you're going to get right back to being hot. So that's a little tip when the summertime comes for you all. Take yourself a warm shower, and you'll feel better than taking a hot shower. No, that I was right. I was going to say I think that's part of that, but it's not. Okay, so we get in there. Once we do this part, we are actually done with this page. I'm going to show you how I did that. Which is black, dark brown, and light umber. Uh-oh. My battery's dying. So let me show you. I just try to plug it in. Plug it in, plug it in. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. Let's get this plugged in. Let me pause, y'all. Okay. So we got it on charger. Hopefully it'll stay that way till we're done. Okay. So his claws, I used sienna in the shadow areas, the areas that look like that right there was brown sienna. Is that the color of it? Sienna brown. The rest of it was light umber, and then right on the highlight of the claw, I did a little bit of it was either yellow orange or Spanish orange. It doesn't matter which one you use. It's just gave it a little bit of a glow to it. So if you hear that whistling, that is me. That little whistle noise, it's me. It's my breathing right now. It's making a whistling. It's actually a wheeze. I'm a little wheezely today. I was watching the Harry Potter marathon, and you know, showed all of the movies, and you know that one of the twins dies in the movie. I forget which one. Ooh, no, bad Potterhead. I can't believe I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was Fred, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100%. Anyway, one of them dies, and so if you ever read the backstory to, not the backstory, but the, you know, the extra things that JK says about the characters later on, she says that the other twin wasn't able to ever produce a Patronus again. And so that made me think about grief, right? And how some people just don't get over a loss. And it made me think about, you know, how sad that is that Fred missed, well, the other twin missed the brother so much that he couldn't produce a Patronus, which means that it must hurt so much to even think about his other twin. Because he could, in theory, produce another Patronus if he could focus on the good times he had with his brother. But it has to be, if he can no longer produce a Patronus, all he can ever really think about is the death of his brother, which means that he must, you know, have never dealt with that pain, and must not try not to think about him. When he does, he may see the happiness, but it's always immediately going to the fact that, you know, he's not there. So I don't know. It just hit me that this time when I watched the movie, how sad that is. I wish that she would have done a book with for the Fantastic Beasts series, though. I really do, because I think it would have been. I mean, the movies are good. They're along the lines of Harry Potter. They're good, but we know that her books would have been way better. And I really just wish she would have written it out. Though she's probably tired of writing the Harry Potter world, but we're not tired of reading about it. And so I would have gladly read the books. Absolutely, I would have. And it's sad that, I mean, it's her world, so obviously she wants to protect it, and she doesn't want anyone, siphoning off of her creation. But it would be nice if there was someone who could pick up where she left off, because there's so much more to explore in that world. Like, she created an entire world, and you have all of these characters that could potentially have their own stories. I mean, obviously you see it with the Fantastic Beasts. You have that story, but you could also do one on when the school was first done, so that we can learn about Salazar Slytherin, how he created the Basilisk, and how the whole Chamber of Secrets first came about, and all of that, right? You can do one just on Dumbledore growing up with the brother, and remember, Dumbledore's sister had a ailment. So we could have seen what happens with that. That could be about, I'd say, a duology, if not a trilogy. Let's see. Can do one on the time when James and Lily were kids, to when they got to school. That could include Snape. So, I mean, there are several more books that could be done in the series that, if written well, would enhance the world and give more in-depth look into other characters. Even if you wanted to do one on Voldemort and how that whole thing came to pass. All the main characters had storylines good enough to have their own story told. A bunch of prequels. It would have been nice and very doable. But like I said, she did 7 books. So she probably just got to the point where she was like, okay, I really just don't want to write something else, or just not delve so hard into these stories anymore. Which is you know, is understandable, but let's face it, there are some writers out there that keep a series going forever. They're 30 plus books into a series, so it is doable if she wanted to keep going. And unlike some of these series, hers could have kept on being great, but maybe she also felt maybe she didn't want to damage what she's already created. I mean, that has to be pressure, right? When you create a series that became so huge, each book has to keep living up to the previous. So those are teeth, so I'm gonna leave those alone. And what we'll do is we'll treat it like we did the claws. So I get my light umber and lightly go over it. And then we'll just take a maybe Spanish orange and go over top of that. You see that? That's how the face is gonna look. That's good. And I think what I'll do is I'll darken up into these here so it gives it a better transition from yellow into this dark blue. All right, and then let me get my span and let me finish these or I'll forget. Okay, these here is black. So I use black. Okay, come on, fade that out. Okay, then we get our dark brown here. Okay, so then dark brown, and we're going to go into that black. Mm. If you hear TV going on and you hear someone screaming, it's the price is right in the other room. I don't watch game shows like that. The game shows that I do end up watching are usually on the Game Show Network, and like I like Lingo, Chain Reaction, shows like that. All right, and then our last color is our light umber. Look at that. I've been using the heck out of light umber because that's one of my skin tone colors that I use a lot. I'll go inside and just burnishing it out now.